Hey Jay, how are you doing?
I'm good, Frank. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm just gonna give you a little bit of a rundown. Today we'll be reviewing your sales call that you had. Talk about ways to improve, what you think you did well and whatnot. So if that sounds all right with you, I just want to get right into it. How do you think it went overall for you?
I don't think it was my best sales call overall.
Okay.
Um, Normally I feel pretty confident and pretty well organized. But I had a few hiccups during this one that I don't normally have, and it kind of just threw me off. To start off with, I had never been in the area before, and I honestly should have probably checked it out beforehand just so I knew exactly where I was going and been a little bit more prepared. But I wasn't. And then a wreck happened on the highway on my way there. So due to traffic and then the roads being icy, I was 15 minutes late. So it wasn't a great start because it made me feel a little unprofessional. But I did call on my way there when I knew I was going to be late. And I called his assistant. I gave her a heads up. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened. She didn't let him know. Um, but thankfully, he was a pretty chill guy and pretty relaxed. So he didn't seem to be too much on a time crunch. So that was in my favor, thankfully. Um, but going into the meeting itself, because of that, we didn't set an exact time because he kind of just wanted to go with, however we were feeling. But he remembered mid-meeting that he had to pick his daughter up from piano lessons. So he actually said, "Hey, we'll have to cut this short. I only have 15 more minutes left." And because of that, it kind of threw me off of what I was going to say. And then I felt kind of all over the place. And I forgot to ask so many questions that I would normally ask. I forgot to ask about their budget. I didn't really go into details about their trade shows, which is what they're buying things for. And then I also forgot to schedule the second meeting. So
Okay.
three pretty big things that I normally don't
Yeah.
fumble. I did mess up on this one due to the hecticness of
Yeah,
this.
I'm sure, like you said, with the weather permitting you, not being familiar with the area, it definitely puts on a lot of stress. So that's something our company is actually trying to focus on is becoming more relationship based.
Mhm.
As you know, we take that very seriously. So a few things I would recommend is, like I said, you can't always trust someone to relay the message. So for future references, I would like to see you directly be able to directly call the person that you will be having the meeting with. That way, you can figure out any time constraints ahead of time. This time, it sounded like he just honestly spaced his daughter's piano lessons. So I don't think that was necessarily you by any part. Like I did say, or like you already mentioned too. Sorry, I got a fuzz right there. Like you mentioned too. That you kind of jumped the gun a bit when it came to trying to sell him the products.
I
Uh, yeah, the pricing, you obviously need to figure that out beforehand. Um, I'm sorry, you need to stop slowly. You need to figure out the pricing ahead of time so you can figure out what would actually fit best for their booth at each trade show.
sure.
Um, and instead of assuming what they want, you should, well, like I said, get ahead about pricing and see exactly what they're looking for and see how we can best fit and suit their company and help them in their success.
Sure. And normally I would say I'm pretty good about budgets and kind of digging into what they need, but this time I totally spaced it. And he had mentioned that they don't really like to do the giveaway baskets for social media and the websites. And I know that's mostly what we focus on. And I know we offer a lot more, but since I'm so used to focusing on that, it kind of threw me off when he said they hadn't had a good experience with that. I think in a normal scenario, I would have dug a little deeper into that and asked more about what kind of products are they looking for with the trade show. So I
Yeah.
guess I would ask you, since you've been doing this job a while, with trade shows and for people that don't necessarily want the toys like the bobbleheads, what kind of merchandise would you recommend for a company like that?
I think it's great to do more of like a sports memorabilia that gets people excited about it. It sounded like that they kind of wanted someone to be people to be drawn towards their table. In doing so, I know a lot of people are big on whether that be player gear, like uniforms or whatnot. I know a lot of people do auctions for fundraising and that, and like get people excited about certain opportunities. So I would mainly focus on that. Or there's also a lot of autograph memorabilia. It doesn't necessarily have to be that sports franchise or specific person that plays for them, actual uniform, but just a signature. I know that's very collectible for a lot of people and worth a lot of money. Well, they don't always have to be worth a lot of money, it's depending on the item. So
Okay.
um, I would more focus on that. And another thing I wanted to say is, um, as I was talking about pricing and whatnot, something I like to do, you never, because you think no before going ahead of time, exactly the pricing. What I like to do is try and sell them on what they seem like they want. Like I said, it sounds like you were jumping the gun in a way a little bit, but you can always at the end of the meeting, you can always try and upsell them on something that you think would be beneficial towards them and obviously make more money for on the sale. So that's what I like to do. And you honestly, when it comes to building relationships, could be like, all right, I hear you out and I'm listening to you and this is what it sounds like you want. But if I were you, from the companies we've worked with in the past, we've been very successful with this
Mm,
and kind of show them what we've done through that. And
sure.
see if that's something that they would like to pursue later on in the future. They don't have to make anything right now, but yeah, so that's basically what I like to do on those types of situations.
And we've worked with many companies like them and like their brand. So I think we would have many packages that actually could appeal to them that's a little bit worth the money and the time rather than just the toys and the funny things.
Yeah, ex-
Also, I think going forward, something I would do differently is kind of take advantage of how relaxed he was and then maybe suggest like a lunch meeting because
yes,
um that would also help me with the relationship aspect. And then I would kind of get an excuse to, exchange numbers, then build that relationship. So that way I could have a better time scheduling that second meeting. Uh,
100%.
because now calling back, it's a little bit hard to come off as prepared since I was a little bit all over the place in the first
Yeah.
meeting.
100%. I think it's a good idea to get back in touch with them and see if there's definitely anything that can be done about the situation. Just because everything was so abrupt, I don't think there was enough time to fully sell us as a company. Partially because of the performance and like the abruptness, and also just because he had his time constraint that he forgot about, that he made a promise to pick up his daughter. So I think if we focus on that, this is a good learning point from us to move on for him. We've had no issues with you in the past. We think you're doing an awesome job besides that. Obviously, we just want a high success rate and do whatever we can to help our customers out. So yeah, I think it's a great area to focus on, and let me know what you hear when you reach back out and see if we can close this deal.
Yeah, I agree. And um thankfully, I'm almost relieved that he had to cut the meeting short because then it was faults on both sides. So I think he would be really open to scheduling a second meeting and having a more thorough understanding of what we have to offer as a company and all the vast products we have. So,
100%. So yeah, I think that's fantastic, and let me know how it goes.
okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.